Hey, Andre.
Yo.
This just in.
Yes.
This is a 2024 Toyota Rav4 TRD off-road. And this already in. And this is nearly 20 years older, and it's a Rav4. And in this video, what we want to do is talk about what we've got here, what we're going to be doing with this new vehicle, but also talking about what roughly 20 years does in terms of differences, because many of you will be surprised, as you will as well, that in some cases, Toyota may have taken a few steps backwards.
But wait a minute, I have another question for you.
Yeah.
Isn't that true that this Rav4 is the best-selling vehicle in the United States last year, other than a pickup truck?
Leave it to you to talk about pickup trucks. Yes, not only is this the best-selling Toyota out there, but it is the best-selling car out there. The only thing that outsells this are pickup trucks. 435,000 of these were sold, roughly, in 2023.
So this is very, very important.
Yeah.
Yes. I see a very interesting symbol right here, which says V6.
This is the last of the V6s. So, important note here, this vehicle, in many ways, is a serious performer. In the past, TFL has done videos with the third generation Toyota Rav4 with the V6, and we've proven it is the fastest car in the universe. I mean, it is such an underrated speed freak, and I'll explain all of that once we actually are looking at the 3.5 liter that's under the hood. Now, at the time, there was a 4-cylinder that was also available.
It should be popped.
And the 4-cylinder, it wasn't exactly what I would call fast. It was just more efficient. Now, this is currently being used by our videographer, and you can see that he likes leaves. Lots and lots of leaves.
It's okay.
I'm sorry, Cole.
He lives in Denver. There are big trees.
Okay, so a couple things that we should point out. Now, first of all, 3.5 liter V6 that is in this vehicle has a lot of components that are shared with the Toyota Camry, and that is also including this powertrain and its overall capabilities. So this one puts out 269 horsepower, 246 pound-feet of torque. It's hooked up to, I believe, a 5-speed automatic transmission feeding the front wheels. Up to 50% of the torque can go to the rear wheels. It is a very simple system, but it's effective. This is really good in the snow, not so good off-road. And what do you think about its efficiency? Do you think this is more or less efficient than the new one?
So this, to me, is using a formula that's been tried and true. Mm-hmm. It's not a hot hatch, but it's, in my view, it's a family vehicle with a little spice on it. Mm-hmm, yeah. So I don't think it's very efficient because it's got a pretty powerful engine for a family vehicle.
21 mpg city, 28 mpg highway.
What?
Yeah.
That's not bad,
It's not bad at all. It's only a little less than the new one. I mean,
but in reality, what
yeah.
about the reality? I mean, the reality is usually, it can be a little bit worse.
Well, we know that Cole, when he leaves work, is doing wheelies as he's leaving.
Sideways
so
drifting.
He's probably not getting the most efficient use out of this vehicle. However, with that being said, these powertrains are known for being really robust. 250,000 miles seems to be about an average in terms of their lifespan, provided that they're taken care of properly. So this is an interesting overall setup. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to close the hood now.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that we are talking about a third generation Toyota Rav4. These things started in the mid-90s. And when they initially started, they had a lot of components shared with the Toyota Corolla, among other vehicles. They were 4-cylinder, they were anemic. They even had a 3-door. They had manual transmissions as options with their all-wheel drive systems. They also had the 5-door, similar to this, but smaller. Interesting that there is a different type of form and function when you look at this vehicle. Now, first of all, let's look at the inside real quick.
It looks great. I mean, if this was built now, if this was brand new, it's still very usable and very nice interior, I would say.
It's a usable interior, but I mean, if you look at that, where a screen would be.
Well, he's got a CD player with MP3 capability. I mean, what else do you want?
Nobody does CDs in cars anymore, bro. Come on. Yeah, well, okay, he does, but all right. Most people don't. Now let's have a look at the new one,
right? Because it's, like you said, the most popular car in the country. And this is a
Why do you think
one.
it is? Why do you think it's the most popular car in the country, though?
Is it because we say it is, so it makes it so, right? It's like perpetual machine.
You're adorable sometimes.
It's also a very special edition of it, right? Because this is a TRD off-road. And I think that was very bold on Toyota's part to call it a TRD, because to me, with that comes a lot of different, attributes like off-road capability or sporty performance.
We're lucky we're lucky that Tommy's not here right now, because he would probably say some less than pleasing things about the fact that it is called a TRD off-road, because we've proven that the all-wheel drive system works well. However, at our ranch, it didn't do great. It did mediocre at best.
Okay.
And Tommy and I both agree that when you put TRD off-road on anything, it should be equivalent, if not better, than the competition. If we were to have the Ford Bronco Sport up against this, the Badlands, which by the way, price-wise are like identical, it would outpower it, it would out-off-road it, it would out-handle it. So keep that in mind. But
what about power? Because you said 269 in the older V6.
Yep.
What about power here?
203 horsepower, 184 pound-feet of torque. Not a lot.
So this is not a hybrid. This is not a plug-in hybrid. This is just a straight-up engine.
Right, exactly. And that's the important point, is that one of the reasons why this is such a hot seller is the fact that you can get it as a hybrid and you can get it as a plug-in hybrid. Now, the Prime plug-in hybrid, over 300 horsepower combined. That's a rocket. We've driven that at the track before.
So that would be similar to this older V6 Sport, the Prime.
I think that the Prime would kill this.
Yeah.
But otherwise, this thing would absolutely beat this. It's on paper. It's like over a second faster than this is. That's saying a lot. Even at this elevation, this doesn't stand a chance.
And this is an 8-speed automatic.
Correct.
Not a CVT, nothing like that. Okay.
Nope.
And the hood is pretty light. Well, let's talk about usability, right, and utility. What?
So you want some good news or bad news?
Give me bad first.
Okay. Easiest to show you back here.
Okay.
So, really cool hatch. Now, after the third generation, they went to a hatch design. And the hatch design has plenty of good going for it. For one thing, got a spare tire down here. It should be, there we go, a donut. And there's some extra storage around here as well, which is great. Roman could put his hair product over there, stuff like that.
Okay, good.
100 watt. What? I guess you could charge a phone with that?
Maybe your laptop? I think
150 to 200 would be better.
Yeah, I would agree.
That's not good. I mean, sorry, it's not.
But this looks cavernous and also rubber lined, so which makes it a little bit better for like an active lifestyle, right?
So if you were to put these seats down,
yes.
And by the way, this is a pretty good setup over here. Keep in mind how high this liftover is. I want you to think about this before we get to the next vehicle.
Okay.
Altogether, with the seats down, 68 cubic feet of cargo space, which is good for the class. It's not class leading, but it's good for the class.
Okay, and I like that, once again, it's rubber lined, so you could put dirty things in here and then wash it out.
That is part of the package, by the way. That is not standard. So you've got that. That's great. But now let's look at the older one. So completely different rear configuration. Some people are happy that it no longer swings open. Some people miss that. Now, because this is a Japanese vehicle...
Are we allowed to open this, by the way?
Yes. He hasn't screamed at us, so...
Whoa! It's really cavernous.
Now, first of all, look at that lift-over height. It's actually lower, easier to get stuff in here.
Wait a minute. It's like almost at my knee or just below my knee level.
Do you know why?
Why?
No spare tire under here.
Oh, it's over,
there's no reason,
it's on the door.
It's exactly it. So you do have some stuff there that you can put. Look at that.
Okay. A deep storage.
Mm-hmm. You know what else?
What?
73 cubic feet of cargo space with these seats folded. That is significantly more than the new model. However, if you have long cargo in here, that glass doesn't pop up. So you don't have, just above that is the little flipper, which will
fold
in the seat. Yep. Pull that and then you can shove the seat down. It goes.
That's pretty handy, actually.
Yeah, actually, Cole, the cameraman, uses that on in-laws. Boom! Just when they don't know it, and it's awesome. So, as cool as it is, this has so much cargo room. If you have a long piece of cargo, you don't have the option of having the back partially open.
Or the glass open.
Exactly. If the glass open, this thing would be like, why did they get rid of it? Okay. Another thing to keep in mind, and I'm not trying to put this thing down because I really love these swing type gates. Open that up.
All right. I would like to put it down, actually.
Okay. Now imagine that there's a car parked behind you.
Yes.
That's the first problem if they're too close. Second problem is that the sidewalk is over there in the United States as such.
Yeah. How am I going to get my stuff out of the car?
Right.
Okay.
I still like these things as they are. However, it would make more sense, obviously, at least in this country, if they swung out this way. Okay, so the bad news, of course, with that new Toyota is that it has less cargo space, slightly less utility in that respect than the old one. However, because of the way the tailgate opens, you can still do a little bit more with it.
Well, I want to bring our attention to this because this is pretty beefy. So this is part of the TRD off-road, right?
That is correct. So those are Falcon Wild Peaks, and they are on 18-inch TRD wheels. We've used this very same rubber off-road with a very similar vehicle a little over a year ago. Once again, Tommy said that it wasn't spectacular. The tires helped. However, this is not what I would call an aggressive tread pattern. It looks it here, but if you look over here, you can clearly see that it is a little bit more set up for the street, which makes sense.
Well, speaking of the street, what about efficiency, right? You told me about the older efficiency, but this is quite efficient, even though it's not a hybrid, right? It could be quite efficient.
It is quite efficient. 25 mpg city, 32 mpg highway.
Finally, so some progress.
Exactly.
Because I was afraid you were going to tell me that this is worse.
The progress really is in the fact that this is way safer, okay, because of all the safety gear that's in it, and it's a lot more efficient. So you lose performance, but you gain efficiency. It's cleaner.
And safety.
Exactly, and it's safer.
Yes.
That interior, by the way, is really good. I think it's the biggest selling point of this vehicle. And we'll sit in it in just a minute when we take it for a ride. It is what I consider to be a very user-friendly setup. This is once again, the most popular car in the United States. And granted, if you get the LE or some of the other versions of this, it's a slightly different interior, but for the most part, the layout is about the same. There you go. Andre's sitting behind himself. Check out his legroom.
Hey, I fit great.
Yeah.
My knees are almost not touching. I'm sitting behind myself. I'm just about 6'3". My head is not touching. It's roomy. It's for a compact crossover. This is nice.
It is, and it's more room in the back seat than it is in the older one too. So keep that in mind. Longer wheelbase in this makes sense because of this setup.
That's great.
Yeah. Okay, so you ready to take it for a ride?
Let's do it.
All right, let's fire this up. Now, there's not a whole lot new, but there are a few new features that have recently come to this vehicle. That's including this optional LCD rear view, which I love.
Nice.
Yeah, this is first seen on GM products, and it's starting to filter its way through others, and I love these. And they do work pretty well at night. Now, here's another thing, 10.5-inch screen. This is the newer hardware, software that Toyota is now using with infotainment systems.
There's a reason, by the way, why it's so high, because somebody might probably be writing a comment right now. Oh, it's just an iPad that's been pasted up there. But they don't want you to keep your eyes down. You want to scan your driving, right? So
yeah, I only have to move a little bit. And I do like the fact that it's a proper touchscreen. It's not my favorite interface, to be honest with you. There are better out there. However, this one does the job. Another thing I do like, proper gear lever.
And proper 8-speed, too.
Yep. Cameras are decent. You can actually change a few things. I like the fact that you can play with that. And there we go.
Ooh, zoom in. Nice.
I would like a standard 360, which is not here. That bothers me.
Not available on this particular one? I mean, not equipped on this one.
As far as I know, it's not even an option. Okay, but that's about it with the camera views. I want to check out these knobs. Check out my knobs, brah.
Oh, they're pretty chunky.
I like that, and they've got a good rubber texture on them. This is my favorite part. Their switchgear, I think, is second to none.
Ooh, and ventilated and heated seats. That's surprising in a compact.
Right, but this is not a cheap compact. That's part of the thing.
Are you going to tell me the price?
It's actually closer to mid-size. It's so much bigger than it used to be.
At the end of the video,
At
we'll
the
find
end
out.
of the video,
Okay.
yes. I wanted to keep you in suspense.
Okay,
Now,
how much can I tow with this?
3,500 pounds. And guess what?
What?
With the old one, the V6, 3,500 pounds.
So same.
Same.
Okay.
This one does not have the tow package on it. I believe it is an option. But let's just do just a little bit of an acceleration run. It's nothing special because
Sure.
we're not going to be going very fast. Okay, you ready?
All right.
Here we go. My foot is really all the way down.
All right, now it's waking up.
There it goes. Okay.
High red line. It's
Yeah.
like 6,500
You
RPM.
need to get it to around 4,000 RPM to really feel the torque actually do something. So it makes a little bit of noise before stuff happens.
But you have sport mode.
So here's the modes that I have. So there's sport, normal, eco. You can actually see on the screen over here. So back to sport, because everything turns red on sport.
Makes sense.
The only thing that changes on sport is the shift patterns change a little bit. Nothing else really seems to change. Normal, well, yeah, normal. Eco, I'm guessing that they changed a little bit with the shift pattern, kind of the opposite of sport. But you can also push for normal, and then you can go into the off-road modes. You've got rock and dirt, which, here we go, see if you can see that now. And then you have mud and sand, which shuts off traction control, among other things. And I like the fact that you're able to choose this. There's also a separate snow mode. Now, I've used the snow mode in these before, and what it does, two things. Changes around the shifting. So basically, it starts it out in second gear, a little less horsepower going into it, a little less torque to prevent you from slipping, and then it also changes the way the braking is working as well. And then hill descent controls right over here.
So yeah, so I see what Toyota is doing. They're adding some features. Of course, no differential lockers, right? But they're adding some features that makes a little bit more, rough road or gravel forest road ready.
I would really love to sacrifice a little bit of its street capability for a little bit more off-road capability, considering that they slapped on the TRD off-road on here. Now, one thing we didn't cover on camera, but you will be able to see later on before we close this, is that you'll see the coil springs are unique to this, and also the suspension. Overall, the suspension is rally inspired. It is a TRD specific suspension system. There's no Fox branding or anything like that on there, but it is unique to this vehicle, which is supposed to be better for going on light off-road obstacles and whatnot.
So here's a question: will Ivan Ironman Stewart appreciate? No.
No. In fact,
Why
I
not?
wouldn't, because he'll get angry, and he's Iron Man. He'll beat you up if you bring this to him. Just stick with pickups.
No, but
dude.
he likes rallying once in a while. He does Baja, but rallying is still okay.
Yeah, I don't think I would want to rally in this either. You know why?
Why?
19 degrees approach angle. That's not great at all. The front end juts out a bit. There is a little tiny bit of armor under there, but it's not very thick. It's just enough to hopefully bang away a few rocks, but not for boulders. Another thing is that it's 8.5 inches essentially ground clearance, which is better than its predecessor, which was like 6.7 inches of ground clearance, but it's still not class leading, not even close. Departure angle is something like 20 degrees, and that's because of those dual exhausts that look great, but that stick out of the back.
But I gotta say, overall, it's pretty comfy seat, relatively quiet cabin.
Yeah.
Right? So it has those daily qualities that are important.
Handling is good. I like the fact, and I've always liked the fact, that the Toyota Rav4 is such an easy vehicle to drive. It's just, you don't have to think about it. You get in and you drive. I think that's what a lot of consumers, obviously people like them, because not only do they sell a lot of these, they also get a lot of return sales. So there's people out there who will go and buy these things again. Now look at the interior real quick. I wanted to point out something. You got this really cool raised stitching that's red. That is part of the TRD package. The seats also have special labeling that says TRD on them. Not a whole lot going on.
Wireless charger?
I like the wireless. I love the fact that they have a different color on here to kind of remind you that you have that. It's unusual. It actually has an on-off switch here. A lot of wireless that we have in various vehicles that we've been in.
Just come automatically.
Yeah, they just automatically kick in. I don't think it's that big of a deal. By the way, the e-brake is over here. Electronic e-brake. Yeah, not a big fan. But here's a question for you, Andre.
Yeah.
What was this button for?
Wait, is it empty?
Yeah.
Well, you have your
Traction control on this
traction
side.
off.
So do you think that maybe if it's like a JDM, maybe that's where the traction control would go, maybe?
Maybe. Or maybe this is a nitro boost.
That's exactly what I was going to say next. Yeah. So you got me on that. All right, let's wrap it up. And I wanted to show you that suspension I was talking about real quick. You'll easily be able to see it on camera because The coil springs are red, which means special. By the way, TRD on the floor mats too. Sorry about the background noise.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can see that pretty easily.
It's up here, actually, so you can actually look up.
Uh-huh.
And see those springs. Whoa.
So...
How much, dude? I gotta know.
Okay.
I mean, it's the most popular vehicle, so the price range is probably pretty great.
It is. There's about a $10,000 gap between them. Actually, even more than that, depending on what you get. Now, this isn't the top of the line, but it's nearly there. So this vehicle starts at around $38,000.
Okay.
All right. But this one has a couple extra goodies on it that brings the total up to $41,725. That is with delivery and processing. So at this price, it is almost identical in price to the Ford Bronco Sport Badlands.
I see.
Which is off-road a way better vehicle. Not quite as efficient as this, doesn't quite have the same cachet as the Toyota RAV4, but is superior with certain things.
But wait a minute, there's a lot more competition here. I mean, this is such an important segment. CR-V.
Doesn't have an off-road version or anything.
Kias.
Doesn't quite have an off-road version.
Well, aren't they doing like X-Pro or something like that?
It doesn't have quite as the This has suspension and tires, which is a little bit more than just having tires, right?
Jeep. Whereas Jeep, well, they're discontinuing a lot of their Jeeps.
But the Compass is still there.
Yeah,
and the Compass
the Cherokee's gone away.
Yeah, the Cherokee's gone, but the Cherokee was a little bit bigger than this. This one is pretty close in size to the Compass, and the Compass is just a hair smaller.
I gotcha.
Overall, though, we are talking about a vehicle that at the end of the day, this is the best-selling non-pickup truck in the United States. There's a good reason for that. The reputation. It's all about the reputation in my book. I think the design is pretty nice. I think it's very useful. I actually prefer the older one a little bit more. It's got better power and it's got more cargo capacity, and I think it's got a little bit more personality because of that. But considering what this vehicle is, the only letdown in my book is the fact that it's not as off-road capable as the badging would indicate.
Gotcha. Well, let us know what you think in the comments below. Of course, check out oldtfl.com for everything automotive, all the news right there in one place.
Absolutely. And in the near future, we're going to be doing more videos with this vehicle.